welcome to our podcast today. I'm going to tackle a topic that is still hugely important. And while I've talked about resilience before, I want to really emphasize the importance of resilience at all levels in our organizations. In the past, I've talked a lot about the importance of resilience at leadership levels, but today I want to talk about the importance of resilience at every layer of our organization. So we've known for a number of years now that resilience is a differentiator in leadership effectiveness. We've known for a while now that resilience is a differentiator in terms of how people manage and cope with change. We've also known that it's a differentiator in how people cope with life and the pressures of life. So as we look around us at the complexity of the world that we're living in, the geopolitical destabilization that we're experiencing, the pressures from costs increasing, the pressures from increased mental health issues, and all the challenges that we're facing in our modern society, resilience is utterly imperative. It doesn't matter what leadership role you have. Even if you don't have a leadership role, your resilience is going to make a difference in how you navigate today's world. So I want to just spend a bit of time talking about what is essential in terms of resilience management. Again, I will refer to a range of research, but a lot of what I'm going to say is really defined by the research in my book, Leader Resilience, The New Frontier of Leadership. But I want to apply it more broadly across other layers rather than just leadership. We know that resilience makes a difference. We know it helps us to deal with complexities in the world around us. So why would we not be investing in building the resilience of everyone in our organization and in our homes? So let's talk about the three key aspects of resilience. This is our personal resilience. And then at the end, I want to reference the importance of looking after ourselves socially, because when your own resilience drops, if you've got good social support, it can counteract. But let's start with the three key aspects of resilience. The first aspect of resilience is we need to stop being victims of our circumstances, and we need to start taking back control over our reactions to the world around us. At the moment, we are being battered by constant social media, stuff that's very negative. And again, I would never say that social media is all bad, but if we're being battered by social media and it's keeping us in a victim mode where we're going, oh, woe is us, we're not going to be super resilient. We need to be able to recognize that the world is complicated, challenging, there are pressures, but we need to take back control over our reaction to it. And I guess people like Mel Robbins have really put that in the interface between people. Just let people do what they're going to do. Stop worrying about what other people do and actually take back control over your own reactions. You can't change anyone else. All you can do is change your reaction to them. And that's what we call locus of control. You need to develop a really strong internal locus of control where you believe that what you do makes a difference and that you're not just battered by whatever comes at you. That's the starting point of your resilience. Without that, you'll always be battered by what's happening around you, and you won't be able to stand firm, and you won't be able to navigate the challenges and the pressures on you. The second aspect of resilience is our ability to manage our emotions and our ability to understand who we are in the present context. Now, those two aspects fall under what we describe as self-concept well-being. The two aspects, the first one is you need to really know yourself. You need to understand who you are, what you need out of life right now in today's world. Not what you needed 10 years ago or 5 years ago or 2 years ago, but what do you need now? What's going to make you satisfied in today's world with the complexities that we're dealing with? And that work takes a lot of discipline. As human beings, we need to be super disciplined about that. And personally, I take 4 to 5 days a year to go and do that piece of work for myself. I would be suggesting you need to take time. You might not be able to spend 4 or 5 days, but you can spend half a day every month and actually get clear about what you want out of life. And Stephen Covey's book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, is one of the best resources for that. I've been using Stephen's process for about 25, 30 years. It really has stood the test of time. I was lucky enough to go and study with Stephen in Utah years ago, and that has really formed the basis of part of my self-concept well-being. Keeping really clear on what matters to me and what I want out of life. Because if you're not clear, you're going to be doing what everyone else wants, rather than actually being clear about what you want. The second aspect of self-concept well-being is your ability to manage your emotions. So we describe it as emotional intelligence, but you can call it whatever you like. Emotional regulation, emotional intelligence, whatever you want to call it, you need to learn how to manage your emotions. And again, there's lots of resources out there, Daniel Goleman's books, and a plethora of researchers on emotional intelligence. You need to learn how to manage your own emotions, understand your own emotions, really get in touch with your own emotions. And then you need to be able to regulate them and manage them in the context of the world that we're living in. There's a lot of stuff in today's world that can trigger you into reactions that are unhealthy and are going to lead you down a spiral very fast. It's very easy to be emotionally triggered. It's not hard to find some social media or to watch some negative TV or whatever it is, or just interact with people. People's emotional triggering is really high at the moment. And so it's very easy to get dysregulated emotionally. And if you want to stay resilient, you've got to be regulated emotionally. If you get triggered by emotions, you need to be able to de-trigger yourself. You need to be able to release that emotional energy and get back that positive energy that you need. Remember that your emotions are your choice. You can get caught by your emotions and get overstimulated emotionally by something or someone, or you can choose to de-trigger those. That is your choice. And unfortunately, we're seeing really bad examples in social media and in our global political front. You just look around and you can see people emotionally triggered, emotionally reactive, and it's not good. We're seeing those people and thinking that's normal. It's not normal. You have a right to control your emotional reactions to the world around you. You do not need to be triggered by everything that goes on around you. And if you are, then your resilience is going to be dropping. So managing our resilience requires that we clean up our emotions, that we emotionally de-trigger ourselves, that we emotionally handle our responses to the world around us. That's going to make you more resilient in today's world. The third aspect of your resilience that you have control over is your ability to manage your mind. Your mind is an incredible tool. And yes, we know that AI is taking over a lot of the memory stuff that we used to need. It's taking over a lot of cognitive processing for us. but it will never take away the incredible ability of your mind to be creative, to think about things differently, to find new ways of working. But if your mind is full of viruses and things that are unhealthy and destructive, your mind is useless to you. And unfortunately, whether you like it or not, if your mind is full of negative stuff, it's triggering unnecessary emotional reactions. So our ability to keep our minds healthy and clean and well-oiled is super important. Your mind is a tool. It doesn't tell you what to do. You need to tell it what to do, how you want it to work on your behalf. You want it to work well, and you want it to be able to process things effectively. Now, Seymour Epstein, who's one of the major researchers on constructive thinking, he talks about two minds. You have your logical mind and your experiential mind. What he says is that your logical mind, we all understand how the logical mind operates. We go in there, we do maths problems, we make decisions, we process information. However, when your experiential mind, which is your unconscious, your pre-conscious, all of the stuff that you're not conscious of in your mind, when that is triggered, it actually overrides your logical mind and stops you being able to process effectively. So, for example, let's say you've got a young person in your home who's writing exams. They're smart, they've done the study, they've prepared for the exam, and they should be able to go in and write a good exam. But what happens is, as they walk into the room where they're going to write the exam, a trigger in their unconscious or experiential mind is triggered. It triggers anxiety, which overrides their logical mind, and they fail the exam. Now, if we could teach that young person to stop that experiential mind overriding the logical mind, they're going to be able to write the exam. We've got to teach ourselves to be able to override whatever comes out of our experiential mind. And the only way to do that is to constantly be cleaning up your experiential mind, making conscious why you are reacting to things, making conscious things that beliefs from the past that are no longer valid. I'll give you a really great example from my experience. So when I was finishing school, my dad said to me as I was leaving school, he went, "Lynda, you're really not university material." And I embedded that in my brain, and I took that with me into later life. I got a basic degree, but I went, oh, I'm not smart enough really to get any more qualifications. And then one day I looked at that belief and I went, why am I believing this? I know I'm smart, I'm doing really incredibly at work, but I'm holding myself back because I don't have a master's degree and I don't have a PhD. And so I unpicked that belief that I wasn't particularly smart and made a decision that actually I was smart enough to do whatever I wanted. And I now have both a master's degree in organisational psychology and a doctorate in organisational psychology. That simple belief was stopping me from doing what I wanted to do and from having a career that would way extend where I could have gone without qualifications. So I encourage you to think about what's some of the stuff that you've got in your cognitive processing, in your experiential brain, that is telling you you can't do stuff, or stuff just has to be like that. Things like, I can't do presentations. Things like, I'm not able to do certain stuff. Things like, I'm just not smart enough, or I'm not good enough. You need to unpick those, clean those up, and really get rid of stuff that's getting in the way. If you want to be truly resilient, you've got to know what you're carrying in your brain and learn how to clean it up so that you can be the best that you can be. I'm not saying you want to be better than anyone else. You just want to be your best. And so when we talk about resilience, it's about having the capacity to be your best, not in competition with anyone else, just simply you being your best. And if you look after your resilience on all three of those aspects, you will be your best. Now, I want to wrap up by talking about your social support, because a lot of the early resilience research tells us that social support is super important for resilience, particularly when your own personal resilience drops a little bit. You need to have people around you who you can call at 2 a.m. and say, hey, I'm just having a tough day. Particularly if you're in leadership roles, frontline leadership or executive leadership, any leadership role, you need to have people you can call and say, hey, it's rough at the moment, can I talk? I'm not a great believer that you always need professional help. Yes, certain things you do need professional help, but often it's just a mate who'll be there for you. Not encourage you to become a victim, but encourage you to actually step away from whatever's getting in the way and work it through. So when we talk about social support, the early resilience research around children and families shows that if you've got good social support, no matter how difficult life is, if you've got good support there, you'll navigate it. So I would encourage you to both look after your personal resilience, maintain an internal locus of control, build your capacity to manage your emotions and understand who you are, and clean up your head and be strong in your mental processing and constructive. And finally, support yourself with good connections. Have friends who care about you, friends and family and loved ones who care about you, who will support you in those moments when you're not as strong. So wherever you are and whoever you are working alongside, encourage yourself and others to build your resilience and look after your resilience and maintain it. And thank you for joining us today, and I look forward to talking in the future.